Welcome back, YouTube, to another garden edition, garden series. Today I wanted to take some time out to talk to you about what do you do with your seedlings once they grow? Do you give them any all-purpose food or anything like that? I can only speak from what I did last year. And last year I did not. Even after I transplanted them and the plants were this big, I was seeing some yellowing going on last year. And actually what I did a tiny bit of research, and it did say if your plants were yellowing, I think it said nitrogen or something it was missing. So I improvised and I saved on to some coffee grounds, and I sprinkled just a little bit of coffee grounds in the inside of the container. Did it help? It did, because I planted way too early last year. So, yeah, by the time my plants got outside, they were about that big. So, I wanted to answer that question because that was asked of me if I feed my seedlings. No, I do not. Did I feed my plants last year when they were in the containers? I didn't. So I started to see some yellowing because, like I stated, I planted my stuff on the earlier side. It was a lot more organized than this year. But you'll understand why, because I'm putting out a video that will bring things a little bit more clearer to everyone. I may post that tomorrow. We'll see. So, today's gardening series is basically going to talk about all-purpose food. What did I do? I didn't start YouTube when I started digging my holes for spring. I absolutely didn't do that. I actually turned on my camera on my phone when my gardens were looking pretty fabulous and said, let's do YouTube, even though I thought about it for 4 years. And that's how that started. So you kind of missed my process of, when it goes into the ground and whatnot. So I just wanted to touch base on some questions that I had as far as when do you fertilize your plants? Now, again, when I did the seedlings, it's Miracle-Gro dirt. You can go back into the garden series. I'm taking you step by step. A little behind on some transplanting, but I want to show you my pepper plants. These are my pepper plants. And as you can see, they have like 4 leaves on there. So they'll get their first 2 and then they'll get their true leaves. That's what's happening here. So I want to get these transplanted today. So you'll probably see a video on that as well. But yeah, so I tried a little bit of coffee grinds that I used, and then I let them dry out a little bit, and I sprinkled it around each container. I don't even think I even mixed it in. I just put it a little bit, just a tiny bit around the top of each of the plant, and then watered it in. That's what I knew. That's what I did last year. This year, I think a lot of gardeners say that after they get their true leaves, it's like 2 weeks, and you can start giving them a little bit of like an all-purpose food. But I basically want to show you what I use. Because I didn't use any of these products last year while my stuff was growing inside the house. What did I use outside? Something I can highly recommend. It was my first time using it last year. My friend Jay picked it up for me. One of the bags are not here. It strictly has tomato on it. And my tomatoes did fabulous, but I'm pretty sure it's by Job's. And it was, this is the Job's Organic All-Purpose Granulated Plant Food, which means it dissolves over time. But it was a bag like this, and it was just all tomatoes on it. I went through that bag, but I had an amazing season as far as all my tomatoes were concerned. I have bare minimal left of this. I can honestly say that's the one that I use. And then this organic, this is by Espinoma, Biotone, Garden Tone, Herb and Vegetable Food for Organic Gardening, because I am an organic. It says bigger, abundant harvest, all natural, long lasting, ideal for all ideal for all herbs and vegetables. So I definitely use this as well, so I can recommend that one. This one has a little bit left. It's like right down to here, right there. But I really enjoyed the Jobs. Now what I did was, when I dug my hole to start planting my tomatoes, I learned something from Jess from Roots and Refuge. I always put my tomato plants straight into the hole, covered them up, that's it. Last year, I tried the egg in the hole. Not sure if you know of that little trick, but you go down deeper and you drop an egg in the hole and you give it a crack with the gardening shovel just to help it start breaking down. It's great for tomatoes. I can say that was my first time doing that. That really worked. And in each hole, before I inserted the plant, I would put this or this gardening tone, a handful, in each hole. And my stuff did fantastic. My dogs are in the den, never fails. They always want to bark when I turn the camera on. So yeah, what's another thing that I used? I like using this all natural organic soil enricher. I wasn't able to find this in a bigger bag. I'm hoping maybe someone can find this, because my friend gets out a lot. I don't drive a lot anymore due to my anxiety. In case you didn't know that, that'll be talked about in a previous video. But I use this organic soil enricher earthworm castings plant food. I've been using this for a few years, and I would throw it across the dirt in my garden, and then I would till it in, and then I would do another layer. So I would highly recommend this. I don't know if they sell it in the bigger bag, but I would need a bigger bag of this. So that is when I'm doing like my prep for spring and whatnot, which there's like nothing left in this bag. When I do my prep for spring, I like to give it a good dousing of an amendment, which is the earthworm casting. And then I did do, I think it was this one, the organic garden tone. I sprinkled that across my dirt, and then I tilled it in. I do till, and I tilled it in. Then when I went to do my tomatoes, I would dig the hole down deeper, and I would kind of lay my plant on the ground. I put the egg down pretty far, took a gardening shovel, cracked it to help it start disintegrating. It just speeds up the process to give it the nutrients and proteins that it needs for tomatoes. Eggs worked. I tried it, and I wanted to tell you about that. Give it a whirl. Dig your hole down deeper for your tomato. Drop an egg in there before you put your tomato plant in. Give it a good crack. And what I did this time was I kind of put the root in and then turned the plant like that, so it would come, and then I covered it up. I never did it that way before. I always just went straight down with my tomato plants, and I had an amazing tomato garden last year. You can go back to the garden series and take a look at that. But I just wanted to recommend a few of the things that I use, which again, earthworm casting is great. You could use it now if you're cleaning up your gardens. Good healthy bit of this. I need to find a big bag of this. Jay, in case you're watching, I need a big bag of this. Yeah, I couldn't find a big bag. But you can sprinkle that down, spread it in or till it in, whatever you choose to do. Now, this Job, I swear by this. I use this all season. I literally went like that across the beds, even at the garden center. And it was very, very prolific. This basically is a granulated plant food. And it does say produces more productive plants. And I can honestly say it really did. So this is one of my favorite new products that I used last year. And the other one by Job says, I think tomatoes on it. I'm completely out of that. So towards the end of the season, just to grab something, I bought this Vigoro Tomato and Vegetable Garden Plant Food Plus Calcium. And I was just spreading it over the boxes across the street. It was okay. not bad. I didn't see really any major change other than it did help feed the plants. But if you can find Job's, this particular one, which this one is an all-purpose granulated plant food. It says it goes for your flowers and your fruits and vegetables. This is a hit. This works great. And their other one that does for tomatoes. So I can definitely recommend that. Now, if you're just getting ready to do your gardens and fluff them up and clean them up, I can highly recommend this as well. This is the Organic Garden Tone Herb and Vegetable Food for organic gardening. Bigger, abundant harvest, all natural, long lasting, ideal for all herbs and vegetables. When I knew it was going to rain, the next day I went out that previous day, grabbed a handful, and literally, as if you were throwing grass seed, threw it all in the garden, all my gardens, and I let the rain soak it in. So I think this is good for starting up your garden and to use as an amendment. You can probably put a handful of this inside the hole that you dig for your plants, but I didn't. I used this in my hole along with the tomato one, and also the egg in the hole strictly for tomatoes, and my earthworm castings. So super quick video. I really need to find a big old bag of this one. This is 6 pounds. It's a pretty small bag, but it's great. It's great for the worms, and my soil out back was fantastic because of using this for years and years. Like I said, I sprinkle this in my garden, and then I till it in, and then I give it another dousing of this before I even go and plant a single solitary plant in my garden. Now, as far as, yes, that's what I use. Swear by Job's. What other channel is it? The Stivers swear by this Job's for tomatoes and their vegetables as well. This is great. It's in a bigger bag too. This is fantastic to amend your soil along with the earthworm castings. So I would recommend this. I'm going to have to get another bag of this as well. But I had a phenomenal year last year, and I can only blame it on some great seeds and giving them the right nutrition. And this was the one I spoke about that I grabbed in case of an emergency because I literally had ran out. But this isn't the one that I really cared for. I cared for the Garden Tone, the tomato one, or the Job's. That's for just, it has tomatoes on it. You can look it up. They're right online. So that is what I used in my garden beds last year. No pesticides. I made my own, which I will discuss that. But right now I want to talk to you about the seedlings. Did I start my seedlings off with anything additional inside the soil when I started them other than the Miracle-Gro potting mix? No, I did not. Again, I did start seeing some yellowing because I planted my plants pretty early. Every windowsill was being used, and I just took a little bit of dried granulated coffee grinds. You could probably go to your coffee shops like Starbucks and ask them for their used coffee grinds. I have a Keurig here, and I have a Ninja coffee bar, and I was saving my grinds for that. And I literally, if the plant was here, I just sprinkled it around it, watered it in. That's all that I did, and it really did help that situation with the yellowing. I started to see the green coming back. So the percentage of gardeners talk about how after your first set of true leaves, okay, when your seedling comes up, it'll have 1 leaf or 2 leaves. True leaves, I don't have one out. Let me see if I can grab one and show you. I'm not sure because these may be a little bit smaller. Let me see. Okay, I found one. This is the Quadro Tomato Roma. I have 2 in here, which might not be such a good idea. I may have to pull them out. But as you can see, this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. Has 6 leaves. This is around the time. 4 leaves, actually. You can do it on 4 leaves. You can give it a little bit of organic all-purpose food. If I had some, I would do it. So I think it's recommended 2 weeks after your plants have their true leaves, which would be 4 leaves. It could be 5 or 6 leaves. You want to give them a little bit of nutrients. Don't know if that was a good idea, rushing and putting 2 tomato plants in one cell, because it might fight and the roots might get a little tangled. I don't know. I never really planted 2 in one pot, but I was rushing that day and thought I was out of pots. But I'm not, because my best friend gets dibs. He gets these to his office, and I just got a shipment of another box from him. These are clear, see-through. I don't have to buy them from Amazon. He puts the drill holes in it for me. Oh, he's a lifesaver. So I was worried, and why I didn't transplant my pepper plants already is because I didn't think that I had enough. But yeah, I should be okay with that. So yeah, so right about now, you can give your plant just a tiny little bit and water it in. A lot of people use bone meal, blood meal. I definitely want that this year. It's a liquid. It stinks. It's okay. Wear gloves. I definitely want to try that this year. I heard a lot of great things about it, so I do have to find that at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's liquid blood meal or bone meal. I don't want the granulars. I want the liquid. So I do have to find that. But while your plants are indoors and still not outside yet, they are going to require, and I may transplant this because I don't want you fighting for the space. But I will be starting now that they have their true leaves on there. And that's what true leaves means, in case you didn't know it. Your seedling will come up. It'll have 2 leaves. You want it to at least have 4 leaves. It's about 2 weeks after it gets its true leaves. You want to start giving all your plants a little bit of food. This is Biozome. This did wonders. So this year, I'm going to try to give them all some food. And I may have to transfer that extra tomato plant out of there, because I don't want them to fight for the space in this container now that I have plenty. So I will be transplanting. This is another thing I wanted to show you. I ran out of my sticks. Look like this. And there's a lot going on in my life, and I didn't bother to go on and order anymore. So I improvised by using plastic spoons and writing like Roma tomato on the spoon. I was going through my bathroom and I found this box. Not sure if they're all plastic spoons, but there are spoons in here. There are some forks. It might be a little bit harder to do by forks because you can only write on this area, but you can improvise on what you can use to label your plants. I still have some spoons left over in this bag that I bought, and I'm basically just writing the name right here and then putting it right into the cup as a little tag so I can see what it is. So, quick video on the fertilizers that I used in my garden last year. I just discussed that. And how long after your seedlings come up and they have 4 leaves, you can give them a little tiny bit and then water it in. Don't overdo it. I would say probably, this is a guess, just my opinion, a guess. I would say, but there's not much in here. I would say a little sprinkle in each cup, water it in, and I would probably do that. Take a look at your plant. See how it's doing. The plant's going to tell you if it's doing good or not. I think I hear some gardeners say once a week that they give it some food. I would probably say look at your plant and maybe do once every 2 weeks. It all depends also on the size. So I'm going to wing this one. I might do an experiment and try putting a couple off to the side. Like I said, there's nothing left in this bag. And try doing one row of my plants once a week with this. And then I may try another row of my plants where I do it once every 2 weeks. And maybe I'll be able to show you the difference. So I've gotten some questions on what I use for, to feed my plants. The only thing I could talk about is coffee grinds last year in the house. But what I use in my garden for years and years has been this earth worm casting. I just can't seem to find it in a big bag. And also, there was a lot of recommendations from other channels to try this. Swear by it. You can find the big bag phenomenal. If not, you'll probably need about 2 bags of these for the season. So if you can find one big bag, that'd be fantastic. But you'll need 2 bags of this for your entire growing season, and 2 bags of this by Job's, that is the tomato. As a matter of fact, yeah, forgot I'm using my phone on my tripod. And yeah, that's what I did. You can take this organic garden zone and you can amend your soil with some of this, sprinkle it across, till it in, rake it in, do whatever it is that you do with some worm casting, throughout the whole thing. And then at the very end on the top, I would sprinkle some more straight across the top after you're done tilling and whatnot. That's my recommendation. This was just on a whim because it was the end of the season. I still had tomatoes going in November, and I don't think it was as good as Job's. But yeah, as far as inside the house last year, I used absolutely nothing. I did see some yellowing, so I started to use some coffee grinds, and they made it. They lived. I think so far I lost 1 cherry tomato plant in one of my containers like this. It's not there. I might drop another seed in real quick, but some of my seeds have bounced back. I wanted to show you that because I did a video on how some of mine died due to being sick. It was a new Miracle Grow that I can honestly say was picked up by mistake, but it was also a very good experiment because, let's see if I still have the bag so I can show you, just to let you know. There's a little tiny bit left in this bag. This was the Miracle Grow Moisture. This is going to be upside down for you guys. Miracle Grow Moisture Control Potting Mix. It's in a blue bag. I've never used this one before. It says protects against over and under watering. Well, I'm going to give a review on it, and it's a lie. I wouldn't buy it again. I stick to strictly Miracle Grow potting mix. I just got another big bag of it. This was good in a pinch, but when I was doing my seed trays, and then I caught, I think off of my grandson, all this stuff that's going on in the world is so crazy, but I haven't been sick in 3.5 years, and my grandson came over and he had a little something going on, and I absolutely caught it from him. It may feel longer to me, like 3 weeks. It could be 2.5 weeks. I've been fighting where it initially started off with in my nose, my throat, a little bit in my head, a lot of sneezing. Was washing my hands constantly. I usually, all the time when I get sick, either get a fever blister or I end up with bronchitis. So I was very, very scared with everything that's going on, and I didn't catch bronchitis. I did have a little bit of a cough, and only one time I felt tired and felt like I might have been a little feverish. I didn't have a thermometer, but that was one time. What's going on now is I'm starting to feel better. I still feel drained because I have a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and I start to feel better with whatever this is. Definitely not coronavirus, people. Not that it's a laughing matter, but if I felt that bad which they say are flu symptoms, I would have taken my butt to the doctors. I didn't have the aches and pains. I didn't have a high-grade fever or anything like that. I just felt like I had this lingering type of cold. And then it was doing where you start to feel better, and 2 days later you felt like crap again. And that's kind of what's been going on. I've lost some weight. You know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can do. So I just wanted to point that out, that is why, or the moral behind that was why my last video, my seeds were neglected, because for 2 weeks I was battling whatever that was. I wouldn't even say it was the flu. It could have just been a severe cold, and it just makes you feel lousy. I couldn't stop sneezing. My nose was hurting. But this is the mix this year that I use for all my seed cells, and I did show a video of how a lot of them died. So do I believe that it works on controlling the under and over watering? No, because I only neglected them for a week. They were so dried out that it was killing the plant. So I appreciate this bag, but I would never use this bag again. I just stay with just straight Miracle-Gro. So, not trying to bounce all over. I have a tendency to do that, guys. Oh, you gotta love me for who I am, right? So yes, wanted to do a review on this bag while I had you guys on the camera today. It's a tiny little bit left. It's like all the way down to here. It might be okay, maybe in a pot. I don't know. Maybe that's what that would have been better for, your outside pots. I wouldn't use it for my seed cells ever again. A friend of mine said, so they lied. And I said, well, yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to stick with my Miracle-Gro. And I wanted to talk about if you're starting your spring cleaning in your gardens, what can you do to amend the soil if you're on a budget like I am. And I did discuss what I've used for years and years. I would top it off with a couple fresh bags of Miracle-Gro and worm casting. And then I took the organic garden tone, which I need to get another bag of this. And I blended it all into the soil. I tilled the soil. And then if they sold this in a big bag, I would get it. I would put this, when the soil was all amended, I would put this, and I did do a little coffee grinds too in my tomato bed. But if they had a bigger bag of this, I would highly recommend it. Or if not, I would say you're going to need 2 bags of this for a full gardening season. But I was putting a handful of this in every single hole that I planted a plant in, this one. And then the other one by Job's is for tomatoes. And I did the same thing. Dug it down extra deep, put an egg in there, cracked the egg, and then I would put some of this, and then I would plant my tomato plant in it. And that's how my garden was successful last year, due to these products. So I just wanted to hop on real fast because I've been getting some questions. So I have a few trays that are done of tomato plants. They need maybe a little bit more. Some have 4 leaves, so I'm probably going to scrape the bare minimals and give them a little bit of food. If you have coffee grinds, you can use that in your tomato bed, or, you know, try a little bit like I did last year. I didn't have any of these products last year, and I sprinkled just a little bit around the plant inside the container, and I watered it. Preferably, you should probably only feed your plants either once a week or every 2 weeks. Don't hold me to that. I'm not a professional. It's just my opinion. You can Google it if you need to, while your seedlings are growing in the house. So yeah, that's what I use. And now I am getting ready to start the next video, which is on my pepper transplanting, and I am going to bring you along for that video, so keep your eye out for that. There's also 2 videos that are going to be coming up. Actually, let me think. 1, 2. I have a video that's coming up that's very, very personal. I was embarrassed to put it out there, but I am keeping it real here. And that video will probably go up tomorrow. This video is going to go up today. I usually don't do back-to-back videos to like the next day, but I think this video needs to be put out there because you just need to know what's going on. So look out for that video. It might be not a great title. It's probably going to have a pretty dramatic title for that video. Please don't judge, and say lots of prayers when you do see that video. And if you can help in any way, shape, or form, I would greatly appreciate that. I don't mean to leave a cliffhanger. I will put that video out for tomorrow. It is, my watch died too, by the way. Thursday here? Thursday in Pennsylvania. And this is Thursday's video, which is what plant food do I use? How do I amend my bed? Which I've already told you. I put this all over, you know, my beds or my raised beds, along with worm casting that I need a bigger bag of. I till it all in, and then I top the top off with some more of the worm castings. And then I sprinkle this across the top, and that's it. That is just how I amended my gardens and the beds, and they flourished. They did really, really well. So any tips and tricks that I did being a newbie, I wanted to come on and explain them to you. Also, I wanted to explain if you run out of tags or you can't afford to be buying these tags constantly from Amazon, even though I know they're very reasonably priced and you get a lot. You can use some plastic spoons to label whatever it is that you planted. So that's two. And I wanted to do a review on this. This was opened upside down, actually, on the Miracle-Gro Moisture Control Potting Mix. Protects against over and under watering. I really think this might be good for pots outside. I don't think that this is good for your seedlings, your seed trees when you're starting off. Again, that's just my opinion. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. I'm going to upload this video on, you know, what granulated plant food that I'm using and what vegetable food that I'm using, along with the worm casting. If anybody knows where they sell this in a big bag, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. And I need to get the Jobs. I'm probably going to need 2 bags of this. And I need the one that says the tomatoes, because honest to God, go back and look. I was still picking tomatoes in November. So highly, highly recommend a big, big bag of this. And also blood meal. It's a liquid. It's in a container, Home Depot. I heard you can get it online by a gallon. I think that I only need a smaller container because you're only taking a little scoop and putting it in a full watering can. So I definitely want that for this year. Under the circumstances of everything that's going on, I'm still going to try to keep my anxiety under control and keep going with my seedlings. And yeah, look out for that depressing and uneventful video that will be coming out tomorrow. So you will be seeing 2 videos so far. I did, because my days changed. But I did do a video on fluffing up the beds over at the garden center. And I'm going to be uploading this video on what herb and vegetable food I use, or, you know, a granulated plant food. If you're not sure what granulated means, it means it disintegrates over time. So I wanted to do that video and tell you my new little trick from running out of the little sticks. Get a magic marker and write the name of the plant. You could probably even go down to the stem. That is what I'm doing, but I was able to fit that Roma. It's a little sloppy looking, just on the tip of the spoon. Another way, under a tight budget, of how you can label all your plants. So that is today's video, guys. I may just turn this off, upload it, and go right into, I need to transplant all my pepper plants into pots like this. I soaked them last night, and I gave them one more watering today. So keep your eye out for that video. And like I said, I'm just gonna keep this going. This is the next step in the gardening series that I've been doing. You have to let your seedlings grow, obviously. And when they get 2 to 4 leaves, transplant them into a cup. And then you're going to want to either do once a week or once every 2 weeks on some plant food or coffee grinds. This is what I did. So I have a lot of transplanting that I have to do amongst 50,000 other things that I have going on. But I love you guys. Keep your eye out for a very disturbing video coming from this channel. Hopefully God's on my side and we figure something out. But you'll know what that video is tomorrow. Today is Thursday, I'm pretty sure. And I am going to upload this on Thursday, not at 8 a.m. That's when I've been uploading a lot of my videos, except for the last week, because I had some really important things that I had to take care of and make that a priority first. But we are going to go back eventually to 3-4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. There was some trouble uploading on Friday, so I went to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday. I kind of did it that way. But hang in there with me, guys. This is the next part to the garden series, which I think we might be on 12. I have to double check that. And that is if your seed trays have their true leaves, it's time to get them transplanted out into cups. Make sure you wet your soil, and then we are going to give them some food. You can do your own judgment, once a week, once every 2 weeks. That's up to you. And the review on this Miracle-Gro protects against over and under watering. I don't recommend this for your seedling trays. Definitely probably for your pots outside though. Not going to 1000% bash it, but I wouldn't use it on my seedling trays. That's today's video. Don't forget, if you have spoons or popsicle sticks laying around, you can label them if you run out of these little tags from Amazon. Make do with what you got. That's what I believe in. And that's today's video. So hopefully you learned something today on what products I used in my garden, what I did while my seedlings were in the house, which was coffee grinds. And yeah, love you guys. Dogs are freaking out again as usual. They're like having 2 kids all over again. But yeah, if you can find this, I highly recommend that you do. And also find the one that has just strictly tomatoes on it. It was very successful last year, and I wanted to bring you along for this video. So until next time, guys, please subscribe. Please smash the like buttons. Got to get them up. And if you can recommend me to any of your subscribers or pass me around, I would extremely be eternally grateful. I'm trying to build the channel up. And until next time, and don't forget to smash the bell and make sure that you're notified to receive any of my videos as soon as I post them. And until next time, God bless you. And now it's time to transplant more seedlings. So God bless everyone. Have a wonderful Thursday, and keep your eye out for the video tomorrow. Until next time, love you guys. Bye.